Good afternoon and welcome to the Joint Board of Review for the Imagine Akron CLC project between the City of Akron and the Akron Public School Board. This time we're going to call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Dr. Akbar?
Here.
Ms. Autry?
Here.
Mr. Bravo?
Present.
Mr. Freeman? Mr. Fricker? Dr. Hall? Dr. James?
Here.
Mr. Little?
Here.
Mr. Somerville? And Ms. Somerville.
Mark Moore for Ms. Somerville.
Thank you.
And Deborah Folk for Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Deborah and Mark. Okay, we do have a quorum.
Thank you so much, Ms. Perkins. At this time, we'll entertain a resolution or a motion to for approval of the meeting minutes for the meeting of May 18th, 2020.
So moved. I second.
Thank you. A motion by Ms. Autry, a second by Ms. Folk. Any comments or questions or discussion on the meeting minutes? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Hearing and seeing none, motion passes.
Okay.
Moving on to section 4 of the agenda, unfinished business, the status of the Citizens Monitoring Committee and the status of the CLC Advisory Committee. Ms. Perkins,
Pardon me?
did you have anything to add to those? I think it was in the agenda, the information that you provided about the monitoring committee and the advisory committee.
Yes, just the fact that that's been on the agenda for a while. And we do need to complete the membership of that committee, of the Citizens Monitoring Committee, particularly since Ed Burley resigned, and so did other members from the board side and the city side. So we actually need 3 members for each side to make a complete committee. And I don't believe there's been any meetings by that committee since Mr. Burley resigned.
Okay. Mr. Superintendent, I'm assuming we can commit to maybe getting those names before our next meeting on our side. We just need 3 more. We can huddle if we need to offline about that.
Yes.
And then Mr. Luddle and Mr. Moore, just 3 names, I guess, of folks that you guys might like to appoint to the Citizens Monitoring Committee. And of course, that's the committee that reviews our projects after completion to see how they fall in line with the budget, what was completed, what was not, and whether they were in line with the budget.
Okay. Yep, we'll make a point of that.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Perkins. Moving on to section 5, if there's no other discussion on the monitoring or advisory committees, Mr. Superintendent.
We have 2 items under section 5 for new business. The first one has to do with change order for Hammond construction at Elliott High School. We did approve the project agreement with Hammond for the Elliott High School asbestos removal, the demolition, and the ball field construction. But during construction, we found an asbestos-containing material within the cavities of the block walls and selected areas of the buildings called vermiculite. So it had to be handled, in accordance with all the rules and regulations for asbestos-containing materials. So at this time, we're seeking approval of a change order in the amount not to exceed $465,000 for that additional scope of necessary work. And it's broken down between our state funds and our local funds. The next item is because we had a bid day savings on the Kenmore Garfield project of let's see, approximately $2.9 million. And at this time, we would like to accept 2 alternates to provide rubber tile in lieu of vinyl tile in selected sections of the building. The total cost of that, of those alternates, number one, we have alternate 1A1 is in the amount of $273,975 for the addition of rubber tile versus vinyl tile. And alternate A2 is to provide ceramic tile in the main lobby in lieu of vinyl tile for the lobby area, and that amount is $57,185. Typically, of course, in entryways, we like the ceramic tile because it lasts longer, and we've seen the rubber tile will also last longer than the vinyl tile in previous projects. So that's the reason for the addition. That amount those amounts will be spread between our state funds, so it's co-funded to a portion, state, local funds, and then LFI.
Great, thank you. Any questions or comments, discussion before we entertain motions? All right, so on section 5.01, the change order for Hammond Construction for the vermiculite removal, do we have a motion?
This is Mark Moore. I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mr. Moore and a second by Dr. Akbar. Any final comments, questions, discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. Any opposed,
Aye.
same sign. Hearing and seeing no opposition, motion passes. On section 5.02, the change order for Hammond Construction for the Kenmore Garfield rubber tile and ceramic tile alternates that are listed in the packet. We will entertain a motion.
I so move.
Second.
Thank you. A motion by Ms. Falk and a second by Mr. Little, I believe. Any final comments, questions, or discussion on section 5.02? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. Any opposed, same sign. Hearing and seeing no opposition, motion passes. Mr. Superintendent, is there any additional business to come before the joint board?
No, not to my knowledge.
All right. Anything from around the room? Anybody else have anything they'd like to add?
Yes, this is Miss Autry. So I think I mentioned it at our last meeting about our policy for CLC usage. I'm just assuming we're waiting till those committees reconvene before we address that. I just wanted to make sure that it stays on the forefront. I think it's important as we are coming to the end of this project that the intention of the CLC usage is reflected in an updated policy. So I don't know if that was something that could be sent out to this committee just so that we can kind of peruse it between now and our next meeting or when the committee reconvenes.
Yes, Mrs. Autry, the Article 10 from the Joint Use Agreement, which covers the Community Learning Center Advisor Committee, is actually attached in the agenda, along with a list of the folks who are on the CLC Advisory Committee, which we need to update, because if you'll know, some of those folks, we have them listed in positions they were in maybe 2 or 3 positions ago. So we'll have to work on getting our members selected for that committee as well. But all of the items under the Joint Use Agreement section are included in the attachment.
And Ms. Autry, I see that in section 4.02.
Thank you.
And if we could, to Ms. Autry's point, maybe Ms. Perkins, just for discussion at our next meeting, if we could maybe add that to unfinished business after everyone gets a chance to review it, just in case there are any follow-up questions or anything.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ms. Autry. Anyone else?
Can I just add to Ms. Autry's comment as we review that I don't see anything on there specific to the insurance, and maybe if we could have a conversation about that as well. I know that is, liability is part of it, but understanding that whole process and what we can do to make it more open for our community.
And for Mr. Moore or Mr. Luddle and the rest of the committee, some time ago we approached Knight Foundation as well, and we do have a grant that is still, to my knowledge, available to us as we talked about ways to increase access or mitigate any barriers to access for use of the CLCs, whether that was insurance or improving any current web tools or websites that are available for us to make registration for those sites easier. So it's something that we can also bring up as part of that discussion at our next meeting if we'd like.
Sounds good. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, anything else? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mr. Luddle, a second by Ms. Autry. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.